Hey guys, so today's video is something that I decided to do because I've been getting so many questions about college and all that good stuff, and I would love to make a video to answer every single one of your questions, but that's impossible. And so I decided to kind of combine it all together by having you guys ask me questions that you have wanted to know about college, and I'm just going to go ahead and try to answer as many as I possibly can. I asked for your questions on Instagram like I always do. If you don't follow me on Instagram, definitely do. I post some pretty cool stuff and you always get sneak peeks on everything. So Amy Musharbash, I'm sorry if I completely destroy your names, but she asks, what's it like living in college, being away from family and friends, not used to the new environment? So I went to university relatively close to my house, but I convinced my parents that I wanted to dorm the first year because I really was nervous about making friends. The only difference is there's no one cooking you meals and no one waking you up for class. I cannot tell you how many times I have slept through classes. Your roommate, yeah, they're your friend. Maybe they will know your schedule. Maybe they will wake you up for class. My roommate did do that a couple times. Thank you, Courtney. Shout out to you. But I did sleep through a couple of classes because once you snooze your alarm, your mom or your dad is not going to walk through the door and be like, hey honey, come on, like you have to go to school. It's up to you. There's a lot of things like, you know, doing your laundry and making sure you actually eat. You're not going to be eating probably in your dorm. If you do have a kitchen, that's awesome. Again, you're required to cook. But there's also the thing where it's like you gotta go walk to the cafeteria to eat. Like you gotta think about your day, you gotta plan your day out, and it's just a lot of responsibility and keeping up with what you have to do. Goddess Tiara asks, how would you like your junior year of college to be different from your freshman and sophomore years? I am going to be a junior in college, which is crazy because I feel like I was just buying stuff for my freshman year. I just feel like the overall thing with my freshman and sophomore year is I didn't really push myself into activities that were not given to me. So for example, you were given your classes, you're going to those classes, you're going to those recitations, but what about the office hours for your professors? What about those extra money for the scholarships, those applications? What about applications for internships and all that stuff? Kind of going out of your way and finding what your school offers you. Only by the end of this my sophomore year did I learn about kind of events that you can meet recruiters and stuff for specific majors, and that's something that junior year I really want to take advantage of, especially being a junior. I'm a year ahead, so technically I could be able to graduate this year, but I think I'm going to take my time to just kind of spread out my credits. Kathleen Nee asks, do you like your roommate if you had one? I actually adored my roommate, and the story behind that is when we got accepted into my university, basically everybody who was going to be in the freshman class got invited into this Facebook group, and everybody was finding like roommates. They were like, oh, I need a roommate, blah blah blah, and I saw these people posting, and I was very particular with who I wanted to live with. I knew it wasn't someone that I wanted to live with. Like, I didn't want to live with anyone from my high school. I didn't want to live with anybody who was too crazy with partying. I knew I needed to find one I couldn't do random. I was like too nervous to do random. So I pretty much conducted an interview through like Facebook. I picked out like girls based on their pictures that they had like in their Facebook. So there was party pictures. I was just like, not really. And then other girls were like super, like they had like family in their pictures, and I was like, oh, that's cute. And so like I picked out like a good like 5 people, and I like messaged them and saw like if we could talk. And I narrowed it down to 2 people, Courtney and this other girl. The other girl ended up falling through. I was like, hey, like, do you want to dorm together or something like that? And like she kind of just, I don't know, she responded, but I don't remember what happened. We kind of didn't talk for a while. And Courtney, like, she was really bad at responding to me. Like, she would respond like very late. But I was very persistent, so because we were kind of close to where we live next to each other, so I was like, let's meet up or something like that. And we did meet up. And it was great, and then later throughout the year we found out that we are like so similar. We are just so weird in like, it's just ridiculous how we are similar in like the weirdest ways. And I love her to pieces. I don't see her a lot anymore, but I do hope to see her again as soon as school starts back up. But Yeah, she's amazing. I love her, and I'm so thankful that, like, God put her in my path, because if I had another roommate, I probably would have hated college. And my mom loved her. My mom loved her family. She was just so happy, because my mom really thought, like, I was gonna have the worst roommate ever. My mom thought I would be, like, sleeping at my house, like, every single day, and, like, going back to college just to get my outfits, but, like, she was really thrilled, so am I. Jade Ashley 48 asks, do you prefer high school or university, and why? I definitely prefer university. I cannot stand high school, and I don't even want to look back at that. It's something that I never really enjoyed. The people I was surrounded with were horrible, and some people I do still keep in contact with, but you really notice as soon as you leave and go to college how many of those people you were just talking to because you saw them every day. XOXO Sassy Sierra, I love your username, asks, I'm going to be commuting this upcoming semester as a sophomore in college, and I was wondering if you prefer commuting over living on campus, and why. I actually love commuting. It is my favorite thing ever, because I feel like I love being on campus, I love being around those people, but I also love to be home. Number one, I have such young sisters that I don't want to miss seeing them grow up. I have a YouTube where I need my office, and I need time to edit and do voiceovers and film without people thinking I'm a nutcase. And also, I love having my car because I can drive to Chipotle, I can go get food, I can go to Panera, I can go get Starbucks, I can go shopping, I can do whatever I want. And on campus, sometimes you're stuck there. You don't have a car maybe, so you could be stuck having to take buses and public transportation, and it's just, I love the idea that I can be wherever I want to be, because as a commuter I don't feel left out, because I did make my friends freshman year, and so I do see them here and there on campus, but as soon as I get tired of the campus feeling, I can get in my car and drive away, and that's what I love. But I do know some people who don't like commuting because they're very far away, and I think that's a very important thing, is when you are a commuter, scheduling your classes depending on traffic patterns, because I knew I hated having classes that ended around 4 o'clock in the evening. 4 or 5 o'clock was horrible because the cars would just pile up on the road, and it would take me like an hour and a half to get home, and I live about 15 minutes away from that campus. It's really, really hard. Kaylee Ann Smith asks, how do you get involved with your school while being a commuter? I feel like I'm missing out by not living on campus. What do you think? I love you so much. I love you so much too. It's definitely true. It's harder, but I think it's just it's mostly depending on you. Whether or not you're putting that effort in or not is going to determine how involved you are in school. Clubs and everything, I've noticed some of them are just not interesting to me, and I don't really care for them. But there's a lot of opportunity to go to recitations, office hours with your professors, and really cool kind of like meet and greets with like recruiters and stuff like that. Those are pretty cool. But I think it's just, you gotta really take a look at what your school offers. I love going to the gym for different classes. I made a lot of friends at the gym. The gym is awesome. It's really weird, but I think that when you're not looking too much for the event or for something to give something to you, like when you're not expecting an outcome, that's when amazing things happen. Because I simply went to events just because my other friends were like, oh yeah, I'm going to this like business fair or something like that, and I'm like, okay, sure, I'll hop into my suit and go. I wasn't expecting to get an internship, I wasn't expecting to meet anybody, but I met some really incredible people just by going. Just shoving yourself into those situations really helps kind of build your character and teach you how to work with those people and how to speak and just kind of BS conversation. And it's amazing when you become a professional BSer. BPat42 asks, what do you recommend for somebody who has no clue what they want to do with their lives and what major to pick? Oh, that's so hard. I'm in the same situation. Freshman year, I literally had no idea what I wanted to do. But again, going to all these kind of events and these like little business soirees, meeting with different professors, I learned a lot about different majors. I took a lot of intro classes. And as soon as I get bored in a class, I eliminate that from my options. I really thought I was going to be an accountant. It was a really easy thing for me. I could easily do accounting. I'm good with math. I'm very good with it. I understood, things like that. Just explain it to me well. And I just realized I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life. I may be good at it, but it's not something my heart really loves. And there's just so much that I kind of went through back and forth. I didn't really want to do science. I wanted to do math, but I was like, is that really going to fit with what I do now? I love YouTube. How's math going to fit with YouTube? There was just so much like that, and then I realized I stumbled upon an event. It was like a fashion event at my school, and someone there learned that I had a YouTube channel, and they asked me to speak at this event. And I was there, and I was talking about what I do on YouTube and how, you know, everything works on YouTube and all that good stuff. There was like Victoria's Secrets was there and all that stuff. And after I spoke, I sat back down, and this girl comes up to me and she starts asking me, like, what are you majoring in? And I said, I think accounting. I'm not really sure yet. I'm still undetermined. And she says, have you ever considered supply chain management? And I said, no. I don't even know what that is really. And she kind of explained it to me, and it made so much sense. And she said, it just seems like something that would fit really, really well with what you do now. And she said, just consider it. And Karina is one of those people that, like, I met at that event, but I still reach out to her here and there. I like to think of her as my mentor. Whenever I have questions about classes or things, she's like a year ahead of me, and so it's just really helpful to be able to ask her questions and pick her brain about things, and give me advice, and it's just really, really nice, and I'm so thankful for her. So I don't think she watches my videos, but Karina's amazing. Yeah, so she really made a difference in what I wanted to do. I was still an accounting major for a couple months after that, maybe like a month or two. And then sophomore year I decided, I was like, she was right all along. I don't want to do accounting. Rochelle Lestridge asks, what do you do when you have trouble studying? Number one, I either take a break and watch an episode of Netflix, or I seek help, whether it's from my friends who are in that class, or I look for someone who, you know, like a teaching assistant or even my professor. Because when you're stuck, it's important not to stay stuck. I have previously, especially in high school, when I was stuck on something, I would sit there for hours just looking at that one problem instead of moving on with my life. Oh, so Megan asks, since you commuted, do you have classes every day? Did you stay on campus till like late at night and do homework and stuff, or did you just go home and go to Starbucks and do your work? Very good questions. It really depends. Number one, I live very close to my university, so I would just go to class and then do what I needed to do on campus and go home. I would even go home between classes if there was like 2 or 3 hours between classes, because I had that ability. My friend Alyssa, if you watch my vlogs, you know her, she also commutes, but for her, she's a little bit farther away. She's like, I think like 45 minutes away, and traffic is really bad in her direction. So for her, she usually stays on campus. When she has time to kill, she goes to like Panera Bread or something that's near campus, and I love her for that, because sometimes she would just text me and be like, hey, I'm in Panera Bread killing 4 hours, do you want to come by? I'm like, yeah! But the idea is to know what you need to do. When you do have time between classes, you have to really outweigh, do you need to go home? Do you want to waste that gas, or do you want to stay on campus? If you're far away, I would try to make your schedule as close to one another as possible. Maybe have 3 classes together in the morning and like 4 classes together at night. I personally had classes every day, and they were kind of spread out. I usually had one class around, like 2 classes around like 12 to like 2, and then I would have like an evening class or something like that. So I did have a good amount of chunk of time between those classes. And normally I would come home after my last class and just go to Starbucks near my house. I wouldn't necessarily try to stay on campus, because there's a lot of people there and everyone's studying for the same exams, and libraries sometimes get crowded. Nicole Isabella XO asks, how do you manage time in college? And did you ever go to college parties? P.S. I love you. I love you too. Yes, I went to a very good amount of college parties. If you guys want a separate video on like, I don't know, like 10 things I wish I knew before college parties or something along those lines, give this video a giant thumbs up and I'll do it. But how do you manage time in college? A lot of planning. Your planner is your best friend. Natasha, WIC or WIC, I don't really know, asks, having a hard time with exams, do you think a single exam defines who you are and your future? No. Girl, no. It also depends on what school you go to. My university definitely has a really big curve, and exams are very like everyone fails equally, so like we all get like kind of decent grades. I've had so many classes where my final was like a D. I had like a 60 something, or you know, a terrible grade, but it's not because I didn't know the material, it's because the exam was insanely difficult. And I wasn't the only one who got a D. It was literally the highest grade was maybe a C minus. Like, I've had professors like that, and it was mostly for accounting, that those professors just didn't, I guess they didn't want anybody to get an A on the exam. I don't know what. But basically, what happened was everyone gets pretty bad grades on the final, and then they average everything out. And so the highest grade probably in the class was like maybe like an 85. That person gets 100. So like it kind of brings all those grades up. So if that person had an 85, their grade becomes 100, and everybody else is kind of curved depending on that person's grade. But then I've also had classes where whatever you got on the exam is whatever you get in the class. And for those, usually the exams are very doable. They're not, you know, completely mind-boggling when you're looking at the question and you're like, is this in a different language? So again, it really depends. But I think that especially in high school, like, it taught me a lot that once I got to college, exams are just exams. One of my favorite things that a professor of mine said, he said, "Why are you guys so nervous? This is an exam. It's a piece of paper. Can it bring you physical harm?" And this one girl was like, "Not really." And he said, "Then why are you so scared of it?" And it just hit me like, it's just a piece of paper. You can always retake an exam, you can always retake a class, but your mental health and who you are, that's only you. You can't replace you. So if an exam is giving you so much trouble, ask for help. I know one of my friends, she got a really bad grade on the first exam for our accounting class. And what ended up happening was she just dropped a class. She decided that she didn't want to deal with it. And that's because in her heart she knew that she didn't want to deal with it. And so she didn't. We struggled throughout the entire year and ended up getting D's on the final. I ended up getting a B+ in the class, but that's not important. For her, she felt it wasn't right. So she ended up taking that class at a community college during the summer, and she got a 97 in that class. So it really depends on the professor and the school more than it does on the subject. NMB123 asks, what is the scariest experience you ever had in college? Love you. I love you too. The scariest experience is definitely a time, it was just such, I remember the day like perfectly. It ended up with a girl I know in the hospital. It involved drugs and alcohol, and it was just such a bad situation. And if you guys want, I can do like a story time video on that. It's just a very long story for me to tell, but if you'd like to know that, leave a comment below, and I'd love to do that because I think it's a very valuable lesson that we all learned a very important thing that day. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you would want more question and answer video kind of ideas like this, let me know. Or if you would want more videos like what I did last year with like 10 things I wish I knew before like college parties, or like 10 things I wish I knew before college in general, let me know. I'd love to do this for you. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to give this video a like, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!